Hello, I'm Steph.
And I'm Joel.
And welcome to
Framed Canvas Cuffs.
and Other Stuffs.
Season 2, baby.
Woo!
We're back. We're back. Can
in
you
the
believe it?
Boleadu.
Olé à deux.
Ugh.
Enjoy the episode. Hello.
I don't know why every time I'm so petrified that we're not recording the audio.
I know, but I can see it.
No, but I just had that moment where
Little
I'm like,
Miss Control Freak.
hey.
No.
It is true.
No, I can see it. If the red lights are on, that means we're going.
That means it's on fire.
And if the smoke's coming out.
That means it's fine.
Okay. Great.
Great. Good to know. How are ya?
Good. I've got my little warm cup of coffee. It's cold.
Ooh,
It's getting cold
chilly.
again. I'm loving it.
I feel like I will, and then I'll be like, where's our summer gone?
No, I'm a winter baby. I cannot cope with the heat.
I'm a sweaty gal.
Yeah.
So
I sweat. I get cranky.
I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. I like chilly nights. I like rugging up. I like making lamb shanks.
I
That's
also
my
feel
vibe.
like it's the sign of when you get a little bit older. Like when you're young, you're like, I love it hot and like, because you're going out at night in the middle of the
Yeah.
night and you're like, okay, I'm like wearing the skimpiest outfit. Don't have to take a coat. Perfect.
But old people like the heat though because it doesn't make their joints hurt.
And they've got like no body warmth.
Yeah, that's why they all moved to Queensland or in America's case, Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, because
Oh
of the
my gosh.
humidity. It's good for their joints. Do you know Flo Rida is Florida? What do you think about that? The rapper.
He's Flow Rider.
Yeah.
It's because he's from Florida.
Who knows?
You know what? I'll stick to being a Peabody. Thank you very much.
Love Black Eyed Peas. We danced to the Black Eyed Peas in one of my dance classes only a couple of weeks ago.
Which song did you
I'm
dance?
a bee, I'm a bee, I'm a
That's when
bee.
they were really
Yeah.
Transformers.
Yes. They're bees.
They're bees.
We were in little bee costumes and
Just like doing this. You were actually dancing ballet, but it
Yeah.
was just hectic.
I'm a bee. I'm a bee.
I don't know why in my mind it's like a kid's class and it's just
Yeah.
you in the background.
I'm with a bunch of 6-year-olds and I'm just a
Pointing
6'1" man in the back with a beard.
He doesn't even go here. All right, Joel, what are you recommending to the team this week?
So I'll make it quick because I know we've got a chock full
Hefty.
episode. So you've told me, not so much of a recommendation, more so me like geeking out over something.
Mm-hmm.
So last week, okay, 2 major things happened for me.
Okay.
Last week, Lady Gaga released her song Abracadabra.
Has it
Which-
only been a week?
Time doesn't matter in podcast. Okay, Abracadabra. I just got to quickly say it is up there with my favorite Lady Gaga song right next to Judas.
Is Judas your number one?
Yes.
Yep.
So she's sisters with Judas.
Mm-hmm.
She's back to form, back making kind of weird industrial dance.
Mm-hmm.
The gays are just eating it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ethereal, it's dramatic.
And she looks good in the film clip.
She looks great, and her choreographer Paris Globel or Paris Gobel, who's done a lot of work with like Beyonce, J-Lo, a bunch of other artists from New Zealand. Yeah, she has the Royal Family Dance Crew. I don't know if you've ever heard about that. If you go on YouTube and you want to see some amazing dancing, look up the Royal Family Dance Crew from New Zealand and their comps. They are so mesmerizing to watch. Anywho, she's done the choreography for the video. The video is incredible. It's just chaos and drama and just everything you want out of a Gaga song. And I'm not sick of it. I've listened to it 1,000 times and I haven't been this excited about a Gaga song since
back in the day.
back in the days, since Judas.
Yeah.
When I heard Judas, I was like, oh.
And then that film clip was crazy.
And for the lyrics of Judas to be in like played on radio and a top 40 song, she says like vein hooker prostitute wench vomits her mind. That's one of the lyrics.
Amazing.
And it's like that's playing on radio. Like I just love it. She's so great. So that was Monday.
yeah.
Wednesday rolls around. New Jurassic World trailer.
Oh, yes. For you, a big deal?
Big deal for me. I'm a very big Jurassic Park head.
Love it.
I haven't been too into the Jurassic World Chris Pratt, Indiana Jonesy, more Hollywoody kind of Jurassic Park movies that have come out. They've just been a bit too glossy. The raptors have become like heroes.
Wait, why?
Because they're Chris Pratt trains them, so they're his like buddies. And I'm like, no, raptors are meant to be scary.
Yeah. We're not supposed to root for the dinosaurs.
No. So this one goes all the way back. It rounds the corner to dinosaurs being absolutely terrifying again.
Yep.
It's called Jurassic World Rebirth.
Ooh.
Scarlett Johansson's in it.
Oh.
Jonathan Bailey's in it.
Oh.
The guy, I haven't seen the movie. He's in Moonlight, which was a big movie that came out. I think Moonlight is the one where they called La La Land out for the Oscar. And then they were like, oh, wait, sorry, Moonlight.
and everyone's like,
yeah.
What? Like, is this a joke?
Yes. So the reason why I'm excited for this, and I'll be really quick, basically the synopsis is, okay, there's dinosaurs out in the real world now.
Yeah.
Something's happening to them, and these researchers find out that there's specific DNA in these dinosaurs that can help cure, I think, some kind of human disease that there's not a cure for yet. So they send Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey and blah, blah, blah back to the island to get DNA from the biggest dinosaurs that they have there.
Yeah.
They also come across a third or fourth island that hasn't been in any of the films where they've put all of the dinosaurs that they've made that didn't quite go right.
Oh, no.
So,
mutant
dinosaurs. It's scary.
That's scary.
Yes. And the trailer just looks great. And I've got really, really, really high hopes for it. So I was just fed last week. And like we were saying, when so much crap is happening in the world,
the art gets good.
Yeah, but like it makes these forms of escapism so much more delicious.
Yeah.
Because you just need something else to focus on.
Yeah.
And so when you're listening to Lady Gaga Abracadabra, you're not thinking about anything else except for that.
Yeah.
When I'm watching, and I'm sure a lot of Jurassic Park geeks out there who have seen this trailer, it's just the escapism is like really what we need right now.
Yep.
And it's just making everything so good. Like pop music and everything is so good right now.
Yeah.
And is it because everything is so dire in the real world?
It feels a bit like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It's like you still need those pockets. Like you need to be informed, but you are also allowed to have a minute and just enjoy, and like it's okay.
And just switch your brain off.
And just have a little bit of junk food and like and I think that's why like I really hope in the next 4 years we'll probably get some really good comedy movies. Kind of like that dumb like we
haven't gotten comedy back in a while, have we?
So I'm really
like Bridesmaids level.
Yeah. Barb and Star, but we all know.
Barb and Star, but that came out.
That came out during
like
COVID.
5 years old.
Yeah. So it's like for 5 years, Barb and Star Part 2 come out in the next 4 years and I'll be a happy gal.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to escape and like switch your brain off and not have to think about it, and it's okay to do that.
We need like stupid back.
Not everything needs a political message.
No.
And I'm okay with that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they're making a new Scary Movie 6, but they've brought back Anna Faris and Regina Hall, who plays Brenda, and all of that.
Oh my God.
So they're bringing back, and I really, really hope, and I don't think they'll push the envelope too far, but I hope it harkens back to those real naughty jokes.
Have you watched it recently?
Yeah, it's so
bad.
But it's so
good,
funny.
It's like there's some parts where you go, couldn't make that joke now, but then you're kind of like, but maybe we could.
Absolutely.
Oh God, we started watching maybe one or two. We watched 1, 2. And I was just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous and so stupid.
We all have our little secrets, Cindy.
Oh my God.
The PE teacher? You can't do that.
You can't.
No, but
the tiny, like his hair, his
hand.
arm.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, there are some jokes you're just like, but it's stupid and it's okay. And not every joke has to be, I think, because we've been so far the other way, it's kind of like, oh, let's just make some jokes.
So I guess my recommendation is if you're feeling the weight of everything that's going on in the world right now, delve into your childlike self and start, just enjoying things that bring you joy. Just turn off the news, watch a movie that you've seen 1,000 times that makes you laugh.
And get off social media because you can start.
You'll just have a break.
Watch Parks and Rec. I really want to go back and watch Parks and Rec.
Watch
again.
your comfort shows.
30 Rock.
I've been playing Donkey Kong on Switch.
Oh,
I never
love
sit
that.
down and play video games, but I've just been, meanwhile, hardest game on the bloody planet. Whoever made that game, I'm like, isn't this aimed at children?
Probably kids are acing it and you're like, why is this?
No wonder there were bite marks in my Super Nintendo controller when I was growing up because I
just need to pass this level.
It's so hard. Anyway, now I've rattled on for ages. So that's my recommendation.
Love it.
Childlike whimsy.
Whimsical. I'll keep my rec short and sweet. I'll say that. We'll get 20 minutes in. There is a new show on Netflix. It's called Apple Cider Vinegar. It is the Belle Gibson story.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Belle Gibson was a woman in Australia who decided to lie about cancer.
And I would recommend looking up the 60 Minutes interview of her because it is just bizarre.
It's like, how old are you, Belle? And because she lies about her age. And she goes, well, for most of my life, I've lived as myself, believing I'm a 28-year-old woman. And you're like, what does that mean?
And she said she had 3 birth certificates or something.
Yeah. And was and when they were like, did you have cancer? And she's like, well, it's just, and they're like, yes or no. And she's like, for some of my life, I have lived believing I had cancer. It's like, no.
Do you think she's playing a I'm not all mentally sound card?
No.
To kind of get out of it?
I think she is trying to make it appear like she was misdiagnosed. Big allegedly, because I think she's trying to make it say she's misdiagnosed, but she knew she didn't have cancer.
And she was saying smoothies helped my brain cancer and stuff.
Essentially eating healthy cured my cancer. And then she created a
dangerous narrative to be
Very
putting out to the public.
Dangerous. But the main actor who is in it, her name is escaping me. She was originally she was in the movie Booksmart. She's an American girl, does the perfect accent.
Yes, so Lockie's been watching it and I've been kind of dipping in and out of the living room and I recognize the actress. I've seen a movie that she's been in. Caitlin Dever. Shout out Caitlin Dever because the Australian accent is so hard
difficult,
to do.
and specifically Belle Gibson's accent, because she's got such a strange Australian accent, is so weird.
And she just nails it.
I got to, because I knew she was American, and I got to episode 4 or 5 and I was like, is she Australian? And I've just assumed she was American.
Yeah.
No, she's American.
Oh, good on her.
Obviously based on a true story. There are a lot of the elements that are in there are based on real people, but obviously dramatized. I know this sounds bad. Sometimes things that are made in Australia feel Australian, and sometimes that's really good.
Yeah.
But for this, it didn't need to feel Australian, and it doesn't. It feels a bit more glossy, a bit more Netflixy, a bit more, American.
Yeah.
And the thing that really came across for me, because obviously it's got Belle's story and then there's a few side stories around it. And what really came across to me was when I think young females, when they're diagnosed with cancer, the hopelessness they feel and the way that they'll turn to alternate medicine because they just need something.
Yeah.
And then how these people prey on vulnerabilities is super interesting. And when we got to the end of it, I literally messaged some of my friends and I said, touch wood, but if I'm ever diagnosed with cancer, take me to the doctors, get me into the hospital, make me do the actual treatment, because I would be the one who would be like, no, I'm going to go and do this. And because you're scared because you think cancer is scary.
Yeah.
So
the having to go through chemo and stuff like that is scary for people.
Yeah.
You're putting radiation into your body.
Yeah. So don't lie about cancer.
No, and watch vodka, lime and soda.
Watch vodka, lime, soda. Apple cider vinegar on Netflix. Highly recommend. Great story. Shout out to Caitlin Denver for that accent. Because
Yes.
boy, oh boy, it was so good.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So this is a long one.
Mhm.
We're going to probably split it into 2 parts
We'll release part 2 a year later, just like Wicked.
and just be like, so guys, we've been teasing it for 12 months, but it's finally here.
Oh, I'm ready to learn.
Ooh.
Feeling like a little sponge this morning.
Oh,
Don't say her name.
she'll
She'll
pop
wake up on everything. That's
Oh.
the annoying thing. So Lockie and I have very similar voices. So when he's looking
Ah.
for his SIRI, well, I won't wake it up here. Every device in our house goes, hello?
Hello?
It's really annoying because everything, I'll be listening to something on Spotify and then it'll stop. Be like, yes.
What do you want?
Yeah.
I always try and be so polite to Siri because I'm worried that she'll take over.
Oh, when they become sentient.
Yeah. Like ChatGPT.
Oh, 100%.
So nice.
I always say thank you.
Thank you so much for your help. Have a good day.
I say please when I'm searching on Google.
I ask it questions.
Please find me.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not getting taken down by the robots.
No.
It's the early hours of Sunday, March 18, 1990.
Oh, I was born on that year.
Oh, in that year.
So were you.
Yeah, but I wasn't alive at this point.
No, neither was I.
I was in a little belly, waiting, cooking. We're in Boston. The city is still buzzing from St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
They love it in Boston.
They
Big Irish community.
You know what they say? Let's go. St. Paddy's Day, it's our day.
Wicked. Wicked hard.
Wicked hard. Everyone's slowly making their way home after the celebrations. But inside the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, that's a mouthful, the night shift is coming to an end. A young woman arrives for the morning shift change, expected to be greeted by her colleague. But as she approaches the entrance, she notices something is off. The security desk is empty. No one is there to open the door for her, and puzzled, she ends up calling her director, the security director, and they enter the museum together. Their footsteps are echoing in silence. The usual hum of activity is absent. As they move deeper into the building, they see that the security cameras have been turned away from their usual positions.
Mama.
Oh no. The security office door hangs ajar, its frame splintered. A crowbar lies discarded on the floor. Her heart races. Where are the other guards? The director of security hands her the crowbar and says, hold on to this. I've got to call the police.
No, they need prints. Don't touch the
don't
crowbar.
touch the crowbar. Oh, we'll really get into that.
Yeah, okay.
8 a.m., the cops are there and they've called Anne Hawley, the museum's director. She's notified of the situation and drives immediately to the museum. She had just taken the role months prior. She's thrust into a crisis that will define her tenure as the director of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. The police arrive and start their investigation from the top floors, working their way down to ensure that the thieves may have disappeared and there is no threat of danger. And they slowly make their way down to the basement, where they make a chilling discovery. The 2 night guards are found bound with duct tape. Rick Abbott, one of the guards, has tape wrapped around his head in a peculiar manner. The scene is both baffling and alarming. The FBI is called in and the museum is sealed off, ensuring that no one enters until a thorough examination is conducted, because this marks the beginning of an investigation that would become one of the largest art heists in history.
Yay.
Yes.
Ooh, so us.
So us. We're really getting back to heisting.
Are the security guards alive? They're alive.
They're alive.
Just bound.
They're just bound.
Okay.
They're not dead. This art heist is the amount of art that is stolen. There are over 19 items that get stolen.
Ooh, good haul.
I know. And the actual heist itself is valued now at about like $500 million.
Wow.
So it's a big, big one. I've had this one on the back burner for so long, and I was like telling SJ, I was like, I've put it aside. Like I didn't want to do it just yet. I'm saving it. She goes, just do it.
Just do it.
And I was like, okay. So there are multiple suspects, multiple things going on. So we've
get
got
to the bottom of this.
You know what?
Yeah.
We will
We'll
solve
figure
it
it out.
right here,
Yeah.
right now. So let's talk about the actual museum itself. The history of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
I feel bad that you have to say Isabella Stewart Gardner
Gardner
Museum
Museum.
so many times.
ISGM. It
Yeah.
doesn't quite sound
No.
right either. I'll just say Gardner Museum from
Yeah.
now on, maybe. The woman behind it, Isabella Stewart Gardner, is just as interesting as the art she collected. She is an eccentric forward thinker, and she's an art collector who wasn't just interested in owning art, she wanted to create an experience. So the museum was designed to echo a 15th century Venetian palace and was started construction in 1899.
Cool.
So it's old. She was deeply involved in every decision. So she ended up, I think she was part of a wealthy family, ended up marrying wealthy. And then I think her father passed away and she like instantly became a billionaire. And
in the 1800s?
In the 1800s.
Wow.
So she was like incredibly wealthy. And so, but she was quite smart, forward thinking. Like she was in the 1800s, she was okay with like gay rights and stuff. She was.
Really?
Yeah. There was like all this stuff where she's just like very progressive.
Oh, she would have loved abracadabra.
You know what? She would have been a little monster.
Yeah.
She would have put her paws up. So she started building this museum once she got her inheritance and was collecting some really, really nice art. But her thing was, I want to show everyone. This needs to be a public museum. And she was very involved. Like she used to go down to like the worksite and literally help build the stuff, like the
Good on
building.
her.
She was all about it.
Yeah.
Weirdly as well, because she was building it all and she wanted to keep it like the reveal a big secret, but she wanted to test the acoustics of the building. So she got a group of blind children in from the local orphanage or something and had them listen to the acoustics and test it. So because they couldn't see.
They can hear better.
They can hear better and they can't see the building.
Okay.
So, so she did that. So she's doing some weird stuff.
Yeah.
She also, she started to fill the museum with art from all over the world, paintings, sculptures, tapestries, rare books, furniture, the lot. She arranged everything exactly how she wanted. Each room had a different theme and feel about it.
Cool.
When she died in 1924, she left very specific instructions in her will. If anything in the collection was permanently changed, every single item in the museum would be packed up, shipped to Paris and auctioned off, and the money would go straight to Harvard.
Okay.
So literally, essentially, if you mess with anything in this museum,
yeah,
it all disappears, which is a very strange thing to put in your will.
She had full, it's her ownership of it all. She's like, this is my baby.
This is my baby.
Yeah.
Don't change it. So pros and cons. Pros is all the art gets to stay where it is. Cons is nothing ever changes.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh my God, gorgeous.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Wow.
That's the garden.
What an oasis. Am I scrolling?
I think you can scroll.
Oh, very pretty.
So lots of pretty, like the fact that there's a garden right in the middle of a museum is pretty wild.
Oh, stunning.
So the outside of the building itself is quite, you wouldn't even tell that there's like this little oasis in there.
No.
So
you wouldn't want to change this. This is beautiful.
It's very old school. Like every room has a different kind of color scheme and feel.
Yeah.
It's a very thought through, it's her life's work, essentially.
Yeah.
In 1989, the museum gets its first female director, which is Anne, who we spoke about just before. She came in and modernized the whole place a lot, bringing in new programs. Her thing to, like, her main goal when they brought her in was to, like, bring life back to this museum. It kind of had gotten a bit, like, stagnant. People weren't visiting.
Yeah.
Her thing was to bring it into the public eye again. And she actually, this is a bit later on and past the crime and everything. She is in 2012, she oversaw a huge expansion and they bought like a new property. So she really was like, okay, we're not going to touch the OG building,
But we'll expand,
on it.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah.
And then you're not ruining anything.
And think that she's done.
Yeah, she'd rise from the grave. If that happened.
And spooks. I wonder if she haunts it.
Maybe.
Surely she's walking around.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could go and do a ghost hunt there.
Oh, that would be great.
Could you imagine? So this is kind of where we start. This museum it wasn't just a place to store art. It was where she wanted to kind of keep this hubbub of community together. And she never wanted anyone to mess with it. That is until...
She made that clear.
She made that very clear. That is until March 18th, 1990, where some people really, really messed with it. This is the night of the heist. So it's the early hours of March 18th. So this is the day before where we just were in 1990. And obviously everyone's out and about because it is the St. Paddy's Day weekend. People are drinking. It's 12:45 a.m. and there are two kind of young party goers, slightly tipsy from their festivities, strolling past the museum. They notice that there's a car sitting outside near the entrance. There seems to be two men sitting in this car, but they're actually in Boston police uniforms. So they just think, they're on patrol.
Yep.
And they're kind of like, well, we're not going to disturb the police because we're drunk and we don't want to get done for drunk and disorderly type situation. So they're like, this is weird, but we'll just keep on pushing. Then inside the museum at the time, the night shift, it's pretty typically uneventful. The guards' routine involves dimming all the lights at the end of the shift, making the rounds with a flashlight, and then essentially returning to the security desk to await till the morning. It's pretty chill. Nothing's ever happened there.
It'd be scary to be a night guard at an old gallery.
Also, they turn off all the lights.
Yeah.
And I just think, that's spooky. That's spooky.
Yeah, going
Put
around.
Put the lights on.
Yeah. No, but then the lights say that it's inviting.
Come hither.
Come hither.
Come in. Very strange. Also, one of the rules is no one's allowed in or out overnight.
Yep.
So once you're in, you're locked in. Lockdown. Paranormal lockdown.
Uh-huh.
So the security guards are just waiting there, but this night is different. Two men in police uniforms approach the museum's side door and press the intercom, claiming that they're responding to a disturbance at the museum. Breaking protocol, the guard on duty allows them entry. As they step inside, the imposters exude an air of authority, their fake mustaches adding to an almost theatrical flair to this charade.
Of course, they've got the fake mustaches.
Yeah.
But you'd have to let the cops in. That must be part of the...
No, you're not even allowed to let the cops in. That was part of the deal.
I thought you had to let cops in everywhere.
No, they have to have a warrant, Joel.
Oh, true. Yes, yeah.
You don't. If a cop,
I'm always letting cops into my house.
They're like, we're doing another search. You're like, fine.
All right, come on in.
Come on in. Have a look around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye, Gary.
See you next week. The guards come in. They speak to the two gentlemen at the security desk. They walk them out of their security office and say very politely, gentlemen, this is a robbery.
No. Oh, chills.
I know. This is the realization sets in for the two security guards. This is not an ordinary night.
No.
What happens is that the thieves' actions kind of reveal a meticulously planned operation. This isn't just two people on the street drunk coming in going, we're taking your stuff. They do not rush this. Usually for most of our heists, it's a smash and grab type situation.
Yeah.
They spend over 81 minutes in the gallery.
Oh my God.
I know. So this is like, it's just wild. They have no fear of getting caught if they're staying there for 81 minutes. Every second there is an increase of capture, but it's strange. They do not rush around. What they do is they duct tape the security guards' hands and they just take them down to the basement and they leave them there. They do not harm them at any point.
Not what they're there to do.
Not what they're there to do, which is also kind of strange. You think maybe...
Well, not every robber wants to kill people.
Yeah, I guess there's two elements. You don't want to go to jail for murder.
No.
But
robbing something.
Yeah, and dead men tell no tales.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like maybe if you'd killed them, maybe they wouldn't. They saw
but then you've
you.
got that on you as well.
Yeah, I guess it's where are you in your crime life?
Yeah.
Like, are you okay with killing people or not?
Yeah. You know, back in the day, if I'd put, I don't know, a steak through as a brown onion at Coles, doesn't mean
you got to jump to murder.
That I'd go to the director of Coles and, you know.
That'd be Steph.
Yeah.
Steak.
Should I have said that? This was a long time ago. It was tough times. Everyone's done it.
Everyone's
done it. They're fine.
I remember once I put an avocado through as a carrot, got caught straight away. The woman walked over. She's like, "What are you trying to do?"
I'm wearing a wire today. We've got her, guys.
Well, I had to pay for it. I paid for
I've done the long game. I was like, we'll do a podcast together. I'll eventually get her to
on that avocado charge.
Going away for a long time,
lady. During the heist, they bypass certain artworks, but they seemingly, they select specific things. So it's almost like they've gone in with a list of what to collect. So they go to the Dutch room and they cut Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee. Mm-hmm. And they also get A Lady and a Gentleman. And they don't take the frames off. They were there for so long they could have unscrewed the frames.
Yes.
But they actually just cut around the canvas.
Yeah.
Not great for...
I hope they were careful doing that.
Yeah, you'd hope.
Yeah. Not with just some scissors from Office Works. You'd hope it was like a scalpel or something.
Yeah.
That's a Rembrandt, girl.
That's a Girl, that's
Girl.
Yeah, it's an expensive painting. So the methods are quite crude. They leave the frames askew lying on the floor. Instead of carefully removing the paintings, they slice them out and they have no concern for the preservation of these pieces.
That annoys me.
Also, it's weird that they took the time to remove them from the frames. They didn't just take, I guess they're trying to get them out of there. But the cutting from all accounts, the actual cutting up, cutting them out of the frames would have taken a long time as well. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like they.
But so would, yeah, and the screwing and whatever. But they couldn't just take the frames because, as we know, the frames
they're heavy.
200 kilos.
By the time the thieves exit, they've stolen 13 pieces of art. The estimated total value at the moment is $500 million.
It's half a billy.
That's half a bill.
Oh my God.
They've just got in their car. The heist is not just a theft, it's a violation of cultural heritage, and not just a loss of monetary value, but a history in the art world. The empty frames are left behind and the kind of gallery is left in disarray.
The lack of respect for the art that annoys me the most.
Yeah, and...
if you're going to go to the effort of stealing something, treat it with care.
Yeah, and what are you doing with these?
Every nick you make is losing you money.
Yeah, and what are you doing with these if you are being so careless about them?
Yeah.
Because you could technically just... if you're trying to resell them, you want them in good condition.
In good nick, yeah.
You can see the frames are just kind of scattered on the ground.
Oh, yeah, that's sloppy work.
It's just it almost looks like they've run in and done a dash and grab, but they really they spent so much time there. There's also a really famous
it's sloppy too because you'd want to cover your tracks a bit.
And
1990 they've got
some
pretty good tech to still find you.
So there's one piece in particular that was, I'm pretty sure it was a Rembrandt, and they'd taken it off the wall, but then they hadn't taken the actual painting. So it's like they took it off the wall and went, too hard.
We'll leave this one.
Yeah. No, I don't like that one.
Yeah. I'm expecting them almost to cut them out of the frames and then fold them in half.
Yeah, just crack the paint.
To make them easier to carry.
So yeah, that is that's the heist so far. Alrighty, John.
Oh, wow.
So let's go through each piece of the most major pieces of art that was stolen from this museum.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest and the best
Yes.
is The Storm on the Sea of Galilee by Rembrandt.
I love this.
This is Rembrandt's only known seascape.
Mm-hmm.
And it depicts, you'll see there's a little Jesus in there.
Where's Jesus? Where are you, Jesus?
Where are you, Jesus?
Little Jesus.
Little Jesus. He's in the center, and you'll see all of the sailors around
there he
him.
is. There he is. He's going.
Oh. He seems very calm. Everyone else is stressed. You'll also notice there is just kind of below Jesus, there is a character looking or a person looking directly at you.
Yes. Yep. He sees me.
That is supposedly Rembrandt. He painted himself into his own
There
painting.
you are, Rembrandt. And there's a guy right next to him who looks like he's about to throw up. Yeah, he's got seasickness. There's people praying to Jesus. Jesus he looks calm, but he also has a girl, back up. Because people are touching him and praying to him.
He's like, you know what, I'm not.
Can you give me some space?
Hey, can you get your hands off me? Don't you know who I am?
And he has a bit of glowing. He's glowing.
He's glowing. Some would say he's glowing.
The light in this is just stunning. The way that the sunlight is bouncing from the sea spray at the front.
The movement in this piece.
It is so dramatic and beautiful, and I want a big picture of this in a gold frame in my house.
So the reason why this one kind of hits the hardest is because it is Rembrandt's only known seascape. He did so many other paintings, but this one in particular, it's like one of one. It's not like there's another one out there.
It looks like he's made a little mistake up near the flag at the top of the ship.
Oh.
Something about the colour.
Oh, it's like he's painted
kinda
over.
He's covered something up.
Interesting.
Because that looks like a bit of a mistake because he hasn't gone with the brush strokes that the clouds are going in. He's kind of gone around the flag in a darker blue, which looks like back in the day you go, oh, I stuffed that bit up. Or it could be intentional. I don't know. Rembrandt was a genius. I love this painting.
You want one?
Yeah.
I'll get it.
Someone
I happen to know a guy. All right.
I love art.
Aww,
I love art so much. I have such a visceral reaction sometimes when I see something. This image came from his mind. And he's created
it.
It came from nothing.
That's the thing. It's not like you'd have references, but you've created it into something.
Yeah. That's the amazing thing about art. You're literally creating something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. Unless you're doing still life.
And then
then
it does exist. But also Jesus.
Jesus on a boat.
Jesus on a boat. Who would have thought? All right. If you flick to the next one, it's also a Rembrandt. A Lady and Gentleman in Black. So this is another, it was painted in around 1633. It has Rembrandt's signature dramatic lighting, and it's a formal portrait of a wealthy couple. But here's the interesting thing. Now we are able to X-ray paintings and we can see what's behind. In between the man and the woman, there was a child standing there at one point.
Oh.
So
shopped the child out.
He's shopped the child out. So Rembrandt, apparently, he painted this portrait. The child, unfortunately, died. And then he came back in. So Rembrandt himself came back in and he painted over because the mother was in so much grief. She couldn't look at the painting anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So they commissioned him to come back and just paint the child out of it because she was in severe denial about it all. So
that's sad, and I get it, but I feel like after a while you'd want
the child there. I know.
You don't want to erase him.
Yeah, from
the way that he captures natural light is just so, and the way that it hits the skin tones.
Oh, the way he captures people is just otherworldly.
And I love that the man is staring at you. The woman is looking quite not listless, but more in deep thought.
And I don't understand how he creates, because obviously this painting, when you look at it, it's just black. There's just a lot of black, but it's not just black.
No.
Like if I tried to paint that, it would just be a black
like even
space.
The details in the frills in her collar are so perfectly done.
I always wonder, how long did it take you? I don't know how long. Did it take months? Did it take weeks?
They don't make them like this anymore, Steph.
Everything's just slapdash. Yeah. You're going to not like this one as much. I can already tell.
Nope.
Is it the... it's a landscape.
We know I don't like,
You don't like a landscape.
I don't like I need something going on.
So this is called a landscape with a obelisk. And it is by... Hi.
Oh, Kizzy. He's being so affectionate today.
You're being so cuddly. Are you cold? This painting was actually originally attributed to Rembrandt, but it was actually by Govert Flinkt.
Yep. It doesn't have the finesse that a Rembrandt would have. He
was a student of Rembrandt.
Yeah.
And obviously we know that by association it still makes it quite a, expensive piece of art.
The scale of the foreground and the background isn't really matching up for me. When you look at it, so there's a man on his horse in the foreground, and then behind him there's like a little bridge with like a little spinny water wheel thing, but they look like way too small.
Comparatively.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, it just doesn't have the scale seems off.
Yeah. And you go from the first two pieces to this piece and you go...
It's still a marvel. I could never do this in my wildest dreams.
But I can judge it. So then the next one is called The Concert, and it is by Vermeer. So we have talked about Vermeer before. We know that he did a very limited number of works, around 35, and the reason we don't know how many is because Vermeer was the one who had all the forgeries made.
Is he the lady pouring the cereal bowl?
Yes.
Yes. With the blue.
With the blue.
Yes.
He loves a bit of blue.
Well, because I'm thinking about that because he often, there's always like a lot of set dressing in his portraits and pictures. Like I noticed there's like taking up quite a big chunk of the space is a table with like this beautiful kind of like rug draped over it.
So obviously this particular work, because it is one of it's actually worth about like $200 million
Holy
now by
schmagoli.
itself. The next one is a small etching of Rembrandt. So another Rembrandt, it's a self-portrait. The weird thing about this is that painting is like quite small, could fit in your pocket, but weirdly enough, the thieves still took it out of the frame in the time that they were in the...
Sloppy work.
It's very
Just
strange.
take the frame and the thing. It couldn't have been that heavy.
Yeah, honestly, you could have fit it in your pocket, so why didn't you just take it with the frame on?
And this makes me think that definitely is Rembrandt in the first one because he really looks like...
The same.
He's got my eyes.
He's got your...
Am I related to Rembrandt?
Oh, could you imagine if you found that out?
Oh my God. Well, my sister's doing like a deep dive of like our family history,
Are
ancestry.
you doing ancestry DNA?
Oh, I don't know. She's doing something. She was like asking for all this information from my side of the family.
I love that she's doing that.
What if I'm a Rembrandt?
What if you're a reincarnated Rembrandt?
I hope he wasn't terrible and like had a 12-year-old bride or something.
He probably did, but that was of the time, right?
Yeah. Who didn't?
Who didn't at that time? If you didn't have a 12-year-old bride, you were doing it wrong.
Am I crazy for thinking he kind of looks like me?
No, I see it in the eyes, right?
And my face shape. Papa?
They were all stolen out of like the one room. Those ones called the Dutch room. The next one is this one, and then the next one, you'll see they're actually just sketches.
Yep.
But they were sketches done by Degas. So he did a lot of sculpture work, but he did a lot of the French Impressionists when you see the ballet girls.
Yes.
Yeah, so he did all of those, and he did a sculpture of a young girl, ballet girl, and that was anyway.
Yeah.
That's
so these are his like doodles.
These
of
are
him
his little
thinking
doodles
about what he's gonna paint.
So there was 5
Or
of
sculpt.
those that were taken. They're quite small, done in charcoal and pencil. Comparatively to the paintings, though, they're not worth as much. So it's kind of like, why were these taken as well?
I love seeing the sketch work because, and like when you go to a lot of exhibitions, there's something so much more personal about it.
You can see
because you can see his mind thinking.
And I think because they're sketches as well, they're quicker, it's not so meticulous.
Yeah.
There's something a bit more free about them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're those ones. Then if you go to your next one.
There's a big goose. I think it's a hawk?
Oh,
an eagle?
yes. So that is the Napoleonic eagle finial.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially what that was is that sat on the top of Napoleon's flag when he was running around with his little flags.
That'd probably be worth a couple of schmackos.
Yeah, but not as much as you think.
Really?
Yeah. So it's very weird that why someone in the team must have liked Napoleon in order to take this,
Yeah.
right?
I guess.
Because there's so
But
much
he's
other
pretty
art.
renowned.
There's so much other things in there
Yeah.
though that you could take.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this one comparatively is not worth as much.
But might have been easier.
True. You might have just been like walking out and been like, I'll just take that. Thank
Yeah.
you. So yeah, gold eagle.
Yep.
Sits on top of a flag. Okay, so this is the Shares Tortoni.
Hey, Totoni.
Hey, Tortoni.
I really like this.
So this was one of the paintings that was stolen that was the only one that wasn't stolen from the Dutch room.
Okay.
So that big room that all of the other ones were taken from. This one it's quite small. It shows a man with a top hat sitting in a cafe, like sharply dressed.
Yep.
It was by Manet and it was
Yes. It's got that brushwork.
It's got that brushwork. It was taken from a room in the gallery called the Blue Room. That will come into play a bit later on when we talk about our suspects in that Blue Room. So keep that in your mind. They did take it out of the frame and they put the actual frame from the painting in the security guard's office before they left. And that was the only frame they put in there.
Cheeky.
And then finally the Shang Dynasty vase, which is over 3,000 years old.
Wow.
It's interesting that this is besides the eagle, this is the only thing that was taken that wasn't art. Like it's a straight. I think they just grabbed that.
It's a homewares.
It's a homewares. Put it in Target.
Yeah. 3,000 years old though.
3,000 years old. It's going to get you a little bit of coin.
Yeah.
But not a whole lot of coin.
I do like it.
The thieves were in the museum for 81 minutes, so they did have enough time, I guess, to pick all of these up. But they left behind the most expensive piece of art in the museum, which was...
Well, they didn't want to be greedy.
They didn't want... You know what?
Yeah.
They've said this is enough.
Yeah, we'll cap it at 500 mil.
And then, you know what? We'll leave the rest.
Yeah.
We don't want to take too much. And they also didn't take the large Rembrandt self-portrait, which was the one that they'd taken off the wall but left.
Yeah, okay.
On the floor. So
Okay.
I feel like that maybe they were going to take it.
Oh, the disrespect.
Put it back. Put it back up on the wall.
Put my granddad
Yeah.
back.
Put my papa back on that. Papa! 13 pieces of stolen art, valued at about, 500 million plus today.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you...
Plus GST.
plus some 10%, Let me give you a little bit more info before we go into our suspects.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to give you this info and then probably next week we'll dive into the suspects because when I say there's quite a few, I'm going to tell you about at least 7 suspects of this crime.
Who did it?
Who did it? So you're going to have to wait a full week to get that info.
Oh, how will I sleep?
You know what? Not well,
Not
bitch.
well.
After the heist, chaos erupts because it is such a huge amount of art gone missing.
Yeah, this is a hectic one.
This is hectic and the pieces are so special. It's not like every piece of art from a masterpiece is special, like from a master is special, blah, 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 blah. But specifically like these ones, there aren't other versions.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that they're now just gone.
Yeah.
Especially like in Boston, this gallery had been around for so long and then all of a sudden it's like thrust into the spotlight. Everyone's talking about it. And she's on the scene. This is the director of the museum. She speaks to the press and the press hound her. They are not kind to her at all because she's so fresh in the job. She took the job 6 months ago and they are like berating her, just being like, how could this happen? They ask her like, who was on security that night? She's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the night guards. Like,
oh, honey.
She
Oh,
she probably should have like maybe, I don't know, looked that up before getting in front of a camera.
Yeah.
But they are quite brutal to her, and she said at the time like it was pretty traumatizing.
Yeah.
And she called like the board of directors of the gallery and was like, you never told me this would happen. Like, what the hell? Like, it's like the worst day of your life.
Yeah,
at work.
absolutely.
So first up, they put out a $1 million reward for anyone who has information that leads to producing these paintings. And that $1 million reward is actually put up by Sotheby's and Christie's, the two big auction houses.
Could have been higher.
Don't worry, it gets higher.
I mean, it's 1990. $1 million goes a long way back then.
Do we see what the conversion is?
Yeah.
It would be about $2.5 million.
Okay. A $500 million heist.
So this is literally in the first 24 hours. They say $1 million reward, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is just an onslaught of calls put through because everyone wants to try and get a piece of this $1 million. So it's, any Tom, Dick and Harry can call up, and it's literally like it's not really the cops dealing with this, it's like the staff of the gallery.
I wonder if the two Boston drunk guys called and were like, we saw shady looking fake cops.
From all accounts, they spoke to the police at the time.
Yeah.
The FBI never spoke to them, and they kind of just got lost in the sauce kind of thing.
Yeah, okay,
They just weren't, I guess they gave their description, they gave their information, and everyone was like, that's not that important.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they had I almost said the logo from the car.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? The number plate.
Number plate, the logo.
The logo. The logo. Inundated with calls, and then the problem is it actually led to nowhere. No call that was made in that time had any, like...
Well, people would probably just be scrambling or winging it.
I'd be like, I saw Bobby do it.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's someone named Bobby in there. But yeah, I'd try and do it. I don't know.
I wonder how much information you'd have to provide. Well, you'd have to provide information that leads them down the road of getting the person.
Yeah,
it
has to get the artwork back.
Yep.
So whatever tip you give, it has to lead to someone getting arrested and getting the art back, I think. You don't just get it because you're like, la, 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 la. The thing that became very apparent was that the security at this gallery was shit house.
Well.
What's new?
Yeah.
So when Anne had been appointed, her biggest focus was to get temperature control within the gallery which sounds like a dumb thing.
I don't like being uncomfortable in a gallery. I'd like it nice and cool.
This was for the art. Right.
Yep.
So the temperature control was an issue because the art was starting to deteriorate.
Yep, okay.
So the focus was on preserving the art.
Yep.
Therefore, we need to control the environment because there's a bloody big garden in the center of this gallery.
Yes. Boston also gets hella cold in the winter.
And I imagine
you need to crank those heaters.
You've got to keep it warm and
but
toasty.
Not melt the art.
Yeah. It would just melt off the walls. Her biggest thing was getting that into the gallery as opposed to updating the security system. So that makes sense for Anne to do that. But now after the fact, in hindsight, it's kind of like, well, you probably should have thought about security.
Well, yeah, of course.
The word on the street for the criminals in Boston, any thief, like pretty much every thief in Boston knew that the Gardner's security was shit as well. So that had been the talk for years and years and years.
Yep.
Like if you wanted to do a heist, this is a place you could do it because you're probably not going to get caught. So it was no secret that the security was like bad. There were motion detectors in some areas of the gallery, but not in others. There was really no security detailed like designated within the gallery, except for like the two guys at the front desk at night. And also like there was no reinforced glass or anything on the paintings. So getting them off the walls, quite easy. Getting them out of the frames, quite easy.
Yeah, this all sounds pretty important stuff. But I guess if you've gone from the 1800s to now without any issues, maybe it isn't the top of your mind.
Yeah, it's like you don't need like insurance until you need it. Like you kind of go, what's the point? And then all of a sudden you're like, there is a point.
Always get your ambulance cover every year, everyone.
Yes.
It's not that expensive in Victoria. Get it for free in Queensland, but...
Oh, God. the only good thing about Queensland. Sorry, Queensland listeners, if you're out there.
I love Queensland. I want to go to the Gold Coast.
You go on, Dream World, Movie World, Wet World.
Yep, 3-park super pass. Anyway, sorry, we're getting off track.
Tangent. Also, what's weird is that some of the art that wasn't taken and some of the art that was, and we talked about it a little bit, but I'll just retouch on it. The biggest and most expensive paintings were left, but that tiny Rembrandt etching was taken. Like, these tiny little things, it seems personal.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to just, why would you take that tiny Rembrandt? And why would you take it out of the frame?
Yeah.
And why would you leave that other frame in the security
It seems
office?
specific.
It's very specific. They went in with a plan to get certain paintings. Yeah. And why is that?
Because someone wanted certain paintings and they're the henchmen.
And then
That's where my mind goes. Don't say anything.
And also, the next question we have to ask ourselves is, what was the plan? Because these paintings are so famous and also the immediate attention they got, you had to have a buyer lined up in order to sell these on. If your intention was to go in and grab them and sell them, you needed to be doing this for someone.
Oh, absolutely. What are you going to...
Put them on eBay?
Yeah, then everyone knows...
Yeah.
That they're the stolen ones. You have to have this pre-organized.
Yeah, and on the black... It's not like you can just go on... Even on the black market, it's not like you can just go on, I assume, and just be like, here's a painting.
But then what does the person want with these... If they want the paintings for themselves, well, A, they can't really resell them because these are the missing paintings. B, you can't put them up in your house because this is such a massive heist.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point here? Like what you said, a personal thing probably.
Yeah, and so when we talk about heists, we understand when criminals take them, they use it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
But if you're taking this for personal use, what are you doing? Putting it up in your house and being like, shh.
That's my thing. That's what a lot of the stealing art is confusing to me, because when it's money and whatever, money's money. Money looks like money. You can't tell what money is what. Like I could take $20 out of a briefcase that had $1 billion in it and it still looks like a $20 note. But
I get what I mean? It's such a, you can't just walk around being like, here's my Rembrandt.
Yeah.
Because people go, that was stolen.
So I don't see the point, because if you're reselling, you're eventually going to get found out because it's going to trickle back to you.
Yeah.
But you can't showcase them at your house unless you're super private.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems all weird to me.
It's a very, if you are getting it stolen for you, as it's so ego driven because you're taking it away from the public who want to see it. Like there is a documentary where a lot of this information came from. It's called This Is a Robbery. Don't watch it until after next week, people, if you're listening. But there is a guy who is a Rembrandt. He runs a museum over in, I want to say Amsterdam or Paris, but he's a director. And he said, if I got to see that painting of the Sea of Galilee, if I got to see that, he's like, I would cry. Like that is a piece of art that I would feel so emotional over. And he's like, I'm never going to, will I ever get to see it?
Yeah.
And when you take a piece of history like that, you go, oh, you're denying people.
Yeah, it's a power thing.
It's a power thing.
It's very Kanye.
Or Elon.
Yes.
They're the type of people who
that would do that.
That would do that. Or it's, because I think you should be able to privately own big pieces of art. If, a Basquiat, absolutely fine. We know Beyonce and Jay-Z have quite a few, and so
if
does
it's
Kim
up for
Kardashian.
auction and you buy it, you've got the money.
Absolutely
Great,
fine.
it's yours.
Put it on display though for the public for a bit as well. Like, and also they get a tax write-off for that. Everything it works out for everyone.
Yeah.
But when you take it to not show anyone ever,
it's selfish child vibes.
yeah, it is. And you just kind of go, why?
But no, it's very mine.
Yeah.
You know when toddlers go through the mine phase? Mine.
Mine. I don't want to share with you.
It just all seems a bit pointless and weird to me.
Yeah, very, very strange. So that's where we're going to leave today's episode. So we've had a bit of a crime. We will do a quick recap when we come back next week, but I'm going to lay out the suspects for you, Joel, and you're going to try and solve this crime and see
I'm just
who
gonna be
did it.
bubbling with anticipation all week. Oh, my nipples.
Anticipation.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's – what are your thoughts and feelings?
I want to know – sorry to interrupt.
No.
I want to know the why. More than anything, I want to know the why and the reason more so than the – well, obviously, like I want to know the who did it, but I hope that there's some information for the reason why that person did it, like why it happened.
Why it happened, why did it happen then, what was going on.
Yeah, because it just – I mean, if people didn't do this stuff, we wouldn't really have a podcast. But it just perplexes me so much.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I'm like, well,
why did you
take it?
I also think potentially there is, and I could be just putting this on the crime world.
Yeah.
But if you're quite well known as someone who's like heisting, like that is a feather in your cap.
Yeah.
As well. And also you've got these paintings now that when you do get caught, you can be like, I'll tell you where they are if you let me off.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like that. It's Monopoly get out of jail free card.
Yes.
It's your chance card.
Yeah.
So that's what I also think.
And it was a lot easier to do, like, you know, in the early 1900s, stealing.
1990.
Yeah. But no, but what I'm saying is.
Pre this. All the other
heists. It could
heists.
go to your house or something like that. Who's going to find out?
Who's going to find out?
Who's going to know? But
these days.
These like 90s onwards.
People are talking.
People are going to know. There's news. Worldwide news.
There's worldwide news. And now Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
You're not going to put your little painting on TikTok?
No. Much to think about.
And on that note, we're going to leave you for 7 days and we're going to come back with some answers.
This is a really fascinating one. I really like this. This is so framed.
So framed.
Yeah.
Before we go, someone left us a review.
Ooh, it's just a thumbs up. But this is what it's like for us. Like we get a review, and because, you know, we're a small business at the moment.
We're a little small business.
We're going to read them out.
All right. So 5 stars. Absolutely love this podcast. Steph and Joel present in a way that makes you feel like you're hanging out with your two art besties. The stories are great, entertaining and informative. Love everything about it, and I've found my way here through Steph's amazing work on Insta. Can't wait for season 2.
Oh,
so that was
thank
cute.
you, dear listener.
Thank you, dear listener. So as always, please go and review us.
It makes our hearts so full.
It makes our hearts full, and it means that other people will find us.
Yeah.
And we can keep doing this for many seasons to come.
Yes,
until we have to start committing crimes in order to continue
to keep us going.
Yeah. Anything you want to add before we sign off?
No, that was great. Oh, it's chilly.
It's chilly.
Yes, let's go get warm.
Alrighty.
Yeah, let's go have a hot tub.
Hot tub time soon. Goodbye.